Thanks for watching. So, we're going to do the old pre-lift live today. I'm not able to make it down to the dungeon, but that being said, we're going to make a trip to Jersey tomorrow to pull with Latimer, Josh, and the Jersey boys. So it's going to be good. What's up, Drew? How's it going over there in Nevada? It's pretty nice over here on this side of the country. At least, this morning it's not too cold. It's got some sun out. What's up, Nick? Says morning, bro. Yeah, it is a good morning. We're gonna get ready after this live. I'm gonna do a member only video for our heavy lift. We're gonna see how it goes. Laurel says good morning, Nick. Good morning. What's up, Sailor? Oh, Sailor, you gonna join Brian and I to Jersey tomorrow? You gonna make the trip? It should be fun. But yeah, it's after this live, it's gonna be a member video. It's gonna be a heavy day. We're gonna see how it feels. I'm still pretty tender, so we're gonna push it pretty good today. So if you want to see how I train, definitely gonna have to become a member. I plan on doing all my table times, heavy days and heavy medium days will be for the members only. But what else do you guys? Anything in particular you guys want to talk about? Any arm wrestling topics? Anything like that? Sailor says no. I just don't want to travel that far and leave Casey home. But I'm lending you guys my car. I cleaned it yesterday. Oh, that's nice of you. That's nice of you. We promise not to hit anybody with the car, even though my plan is all coming together. Remember when I asked you if I could borrow the car? It's all plans all coming together. Well, I appreciate that, Sailor. That's nice of you. Brian and I will get some good training. Let's see. Let's call this guy BK. BK says hi. What's up, BK? Brian, what's up, Brian? We'll see you tomorrow, bright and early, for the field trip. So BK says, what is this? This is a YouTube live on this channel. And we talk about arm wrestling stuff. So if you like arm wrestling, you picked the right spot. So this is perfect opportunity. The plan's all coming together. Brian says it's happening. Catherine says hi. What's up, Catherine? And Brian says clocks go back tonight at 2 a.m. All right. Good thing you reminded me because I forgot about that. Let's see. What else can we talk about? I know East versus West is today. So Catherine says, how are you? If you don't mind me asking, I'm doing good. I'm doing pretty good. How you doing? Doing the old pre-lift live. After this is going to be a members only video of my heavy workout. So Sailor says, just got word from Joey this morning. Brian and I are going to down ref for his tournament. Oh, very nice. Very nice. It's going to be good. Catherine says good. Oh, good. I'm glad everyone is doing good. But yeah, you're going to have to start practicing. You're going to have to, Sailor and Brian, you're going to have to start practicing reffing. Because I would assume the athletes are going to be extra, let's say, emotional because of there's some money on the line. But yeah, it'll be good practice. Nick says reffing looks like a tough job. It definitely is. Even if you do everything perfect, you could do everything perfect as a referee, and there's still going to be someone saying you suck. So yeah, it's a thankless job at times. I've refed before. Let me be clear, I am not a good ref, but if you need somebody to keep the tournament going, I'll keep the tournament going. So Donald says, I can tell you go to the gym. Oh, I appreciate that. That's very nice of you, Donald. I needed that nice compliment today. Speaking of the gym, after this video, Donald, if you want to sign up for the memberships and see how I train, you can do that. There's nothing stopping you except for maybe a finger cramp when you're typing. But that being said, if you want to see how I train, you're gonna have to become a member, Donald. Brian says gotta have him send the rules over early. Yeah, definitely true. I'm not sure what the rules are yet. I tried to talk him into doing Turtle Man rules, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure how good my persuasion skills are. But yeah, it definitely will help. Sailor says Brian's nervous. LOL. I'm excited. Definitely going to study. Yeah, definitely. It's a lot of work. Well, I mean, it's not. It's challenging at sometimes. You know what I mean? But you should be good. I got faith in you guys. Catherine says, do you have any pets? I do. I got a 3-legged Chihuahua. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I got a chubby 3-legged Chihuahua. If you want to see what he looks like, I got some videos in my channel of Big Frank is what we call him. Brian says reffing is more stressful than pulling. It could be. It could be. That's funny. Nick says, I guess I have something in common with your dog. Well, either you got 3 legs or you're chubby. Either way, it's, for some people, that's a win-win. Yeah, I think I'm trying to get more people on the team that are plus size. Let's say plus size because we like to keep things PC, you know? But we try. Catherine says, I have 2 dogs and 1 cat. Oh, very nice. Very nice. Brian says, and a guinea pig named Chance. That's good old. You know, guinea pigs are used as meat, as farm. Some countries farm guinea pigs. Fun fact for you. Same thing with back in the day, Chihuahuas were one of the reasons they used them as kind of like fatter guinea pigs, I guess. Nick says both. Good. That's good. Let's see. So Skyler, he says, what's up? I think he's confusing me with someone else, but I appreciate the comment, man. Let's see. Got the fancy homemade pre-workout today. But yeah, today's training is going to be a member video. So if you want to see it, you're going to sign up for the memberships. Going to start off with the pronation, the standing pronation. Then we're going to do some speed. I'll probably do back pressure this time, back pressure speed this time. Then I got to double check the book. Let's call, let's see, how do you say this name? Let's say Z for short. Z says hi. What's up, Z? So Nick says, what do you like about pre-workout ? I just pump in water and eat protein about an hour before. I mean, it's kind of like I mean, it's a good drink, you know, it tastes good. I put some collagen in there, so it's good for your joints. The vitamin C from the lemon is good for your joints, so they work together. It's got some caffeine in there. I put a little salt in there. But also too, I mean, I've always drank pre-workouts. Even when I first started working out, I used to, I used to be big into those, the pre-workouts. I used to be, it's still fun, but it used to be a lot more fun. You felt like kind of like a mad scientist mixing the drinks together and seeing all the, the neon colors and stuff coming from the drink. But partly ritual, but also too, this homemade one is good for your tendons, and it's got some caffeine in there. But yeah, if you don't need caffeine or anything, I mean, I don't think I need it. I just like it. Let's see, Josh, what's up, man? I don't know if you heard yet, but guess who's coming to Jersey tomorrow? You might know him. You might like him. You might hate him. I don't know. But either way, they're coming to Jersey. And they already talked to Sean. She says it's cool. Let's see. Nick says chemist / powerlifter with a little heart. Very true. Very true. Jay says, hi, what's up, Jay? Josh says, oh, shit. Exactly like that. You know, I'm pretty sure I held that off for long enough for those amount of W's. But it's happening. It's happening. So it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Sean is Josh. Sean is not running right. He's not pulling right now, right? Because his shoulder is injured, or is he pulling right now? So I think the last time we talked, he said his shoulder was injured. So let's see. Josh says, "Let's bump up those likes, y'all." Yeah, definitely true. I can kind of see with my phone's a little busted. It's got a crack in it. I can kind of see. It looks like we got 5 thumbs up, so I appreciate that. But I also I can't see how many people do we have in the chat. That's the only thing I can't see. I can't see that. I can see that we're live, but I can't see the time. Sailor says 7 now. Oh, very nice. I appreciate you guys watching. Josh says I can't exactly speak for him, but his shoulder is messed up. Yeah, hopefully it gets back soon. You know, he's kind of had quite a bit of speed bumps lately. You know, quite a bit. At least from what I see. You know, the health issues, and I think he said he has a neck problem. Now the shoulder problem. But he's still kicking. So what that means is there's still a good chance for a wicked comeback. So Josh says that's because he can handle it as much as he may not like it. Definitely true. You know, definitely, I don't think anyone would enjoy that stuff unless they're real messed up in the head. But either way, he's definitely handling it, you know? So good for him. Good for him. If he's watching, good for him. If not, I'll tell him tomorrow in Jersey. Brian says, "What's our drive time? 3 hours." So I looked it up last night, and it said 3.5. Josh says, "Yes, about 3 hours." Yeah, 3 hours, 3.5. Josh has that real fast, 4-door sedan, so he was probably, driving real fast up. So that's probably why he got here in 3 instead of 3.5. But if you know Josh, he has that real fast 4-door sedan. Then Josh says, give or take about 30 minutes. And then he says, more like give, lol. Then he says, hey, easy. Yeah, he doesn't like when people talk about his 4-door sedan. But I'm having fun with it. I hope you are too. That's an inside joke. There's probably maybe 3 or 4 people that understand that joke in the chat. Let's see. Brian says just enough time to prepare. Definitely true. Definitely true. Um, we could probably do a whole bunch of. We could probably, since you're driving, I could probably set up a live or something. We could do a big live or something. Um, Justice LO. Yeah, that's a good one. Josh says on the roads to Latimer's. Definitely true. Definitely true. Very soon we will be. Well, I'm not sure what those comments mean, but I appreciate the comments. Let's call that guy Leaf for short. Maybe he's singing a song. He's singing a song of his people in the comment section. That's the only thing I can think of. Let's see. What else can we talk about? Any certain topics you guys want to talk about? We could talk about the East versus West. We could talk about my upcoming match with Chance. We could talk about a whole bunch of stuff. So let's see. I'm not sure what that means, but I appreciate the comment. Let's call this guy Ibra for short. Let's see. So Josh says, keep it arm wrestling specific, chat. I will ban the shit out of you. And he will. He's not bluffing. It's been like 2 or 3 days, maybe a day or two since he's banned somebody. And I just know he's itching. So be careful, guys. So Nick says, what do you think are your biggest challenges against Chance? I would say probably the experience. I mean, he has the experience advantage. Um, that's what I would think. But that being said, I ain't losing. I ain't losing. But it's gonna be good. December 6th. December 6th. There's tickets for in person. If you want to watch it in person, there's tickets for sale, or there's going to be a pay-per-view on the Natty Bros channel. So Leaf says, show us your arms. If you want to see my arms, you're going to have to see, you have to watch one of my workout videos. Maybe even a super chat, maybe that could do it. But Yeah, I tell you what, if you become a member, you'll be able to see some arms, arm wrestling, arm lifting, whole bunch of stuff. Jess has got to be a member. That's true. That's very true. So this says become a member, and you can see them arms with 3 little arm emojis. Definitely true. Definitely true. So Leaf says, how do I do that? That's a great question. So what you're gonna have to do is, depending on your phone, um, it's either gonna be very simple or might be a few more steps. So if it's simple, you're gonna go to this channel, click on the channel. There's gonna be a button that says either membership or join. Click on it, join the membership. It's the STONEtv pay-per-view membership. That is our membership. That'll also get you the first ever Dungeon Super Series, which was 9 incredible matches. But if for some reason that button does not exist, that means your phone doesn't have the software. So you're gonna have to use a laptop or a desktop, and then it will be super easy. But yeah, you're gonna have to click on the membership, join the members, and then bam, you'll be able to see a whole bunch of stuff that only a very specific, cool group of people get to see. And those are the STONEtv members. So Nick says, imagine a fleshy tree trunk. I think he was talking about the arms. I hope. Let's see. So Nick says maybe they'll have bros measurements at the pay-per-view. Tail of the tape. Could be. Could definitely be. But we will find out soon. December 6th. Brian says the measurements are like the heights embellished. Freeze for CW. So yeah, arm measurements are 33 inches. Forearms are also 33 inches. WWE rules. So let's see. Josh says, remind me tomorrow. I want to talk to you about December 6th. Yeah, we could definitely do some talking. Let's save all the talking for after practice, because I plan on being all hopped up on probably one of these. You guys start. I know it's 1:30, but you guys start pulling exactly at 1:30, right? I know some teams will have practice start time, but they don't really start until you know, an hour after. Let's see. So let's see. USA. That seems like a question for Google. Maybe Google can help you out. I'd pull up my phone and ask the old internet the question, but as you can see, I'm busy being one of those dang YouTubers. My phone's a little busy. Um, let's call this guy Alf. Says, "Is this AI?" Question mark. This is not AI. I am not a fan of the AI stuff. Um, There's a lot of it everywhere, but there's a lot of it in arm wrestling. Like all those AI posters that look nothing like the arm wrestlers are all over the place. But no AI. Brian says LMAO. So US says, "What is your name? My name is Nick, and I'm an arm wrestler. So if you like arm wrestling, if you got some arm wrestling questions, ask some arm wrestling questions." So Nick says he's not Allen Iversion. I'm not sure what you mean by that. I don't know who. I don't think I know who that is. So let's see. Sailor says minimum salary is $725. Days Google, but the real question is, what does a top arm wrestler make? That is the real question. That would be very, very interesting. It would be very interesting to see what the arm wrestlers make per, like, say if we had certain levels, say like Levon, Devin, and the other top guys that are bringing in the crowds to the pay per view. They're obviously making the most, and then there's tiers below. It'd be very interesting to see what the athletes are making. So Nick says AI basketball player, another bomb joke. Yeah, man. I haven't watched basketball. I'm out of the loop with basketball. I haven't watched basketball in forever. So USA says best trick to win arm wrestling match. The first one is to be stronger than your opponent, and the next one is, if you can't do that, is to get some leverage. You know what I mean? Get higher up, get your hand higher than your opponent's. So let's see. Crash says, "What's your thoughts on Indian growing of arm wrestling?" Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, I think arm wrestling growing in general is good. Um, yeah, we do have a lot of people in the chat from India that are arm wrestling fans, so I think they're definitely growing. But I say it's a good thing. So Brian says Mask offered Mendogist $10,000 for a match because he was talking shit. USD, not that weird European money. LOL. Oh, was that was a bet? That's a bet, right? Not a show up fee, right? That was, he offered him as the bet, 10,000 to 10,000. Yeah, I would definitely think. Brian says India just won a Worlds in Bulgaria, so those guys are pretty good. Definitely true. Yeah, definitely. What weight class? You know what weight class? Brian says, yeah, bet. That's a pretty good match right there. 10,000. And Josh got his first. I was just about to say victim, but they're not victims. I say trophy. Maybe trophy is a better word. He got his first trophy of the day. Drymo, if that's how you say his name, is timed out for 86,000 seconds. And if you're wondering, that is for one full day. Um, let's see. Brian says he looked like 160 or 176. All right, that's a pretty competitive class. Let's see. I don't. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't. Do they have any super heavyweights in India that are elite level? Because I know. I think it was at one of the King of the Tables, if I'm not mistaken. Coach Ray pulled an Indian athlete, but I think he was like 220 maybe. And we're looking for super heavyweights. You know, around 300 at least. Does India have any 300 pounders? 300 plus pounders that arm wrestle? I don't think I've ever seen any. I don't think. Brian says I don't think they have any well-known 242, but there's a couple above 220. I think. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like 220. I know there's one that's had that match with Coach Ray. I think he's like pretty sure he's from India. I think it was years ago though. I mean, but they got a lot of people over there, so I mean, it's only if it's a numbers game, it's only a matter of time before the super start popping up. Brian says somebody's got to get sumos to compete. That might be tough because I would think maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I know nothing about sumo wrestling, but I would think they probably make more money than arm wrestlers, especially in Japan. I would think, but I could be wrong. But yeah, that would definitely be a good strategy. I also think we should start putting flyers up at the buffets and the Golden Corrals and the hometown buffets and all that stuff. We'll put flyers up. Um, Maybe we'll put like on the top of the flyer, like looking for fatties, and then underneath, like, did we get your attention? Do you want to arm wrestle? Call this number. Maybe we'll put a flyer up like that. Brian says after retirement, maybe. That could be. That could be it. Maybe we'll go get all this. Go to all the sumo, um, you know, PT, the physical therapist facilities where they treat all their injured arm wrestlers. I mean, they're injured sumo wrestlers, and maybe we can get some of the ones with leg and back injuries. But I think we're on to something. I think we're on to something. Josh says these trolls suck. Yeah, these ones won't even have fun. Usually, when I read the comment, it will be funny. Even if I don't say it, I'll still laugh. But yeah, these trolls today were no fun. What's that word? Originality. There was no originality. It was almost like they were just copy and pasting stuff. Maybe they're bots. Maybe the bots are back. Maybe that's why. But Brian says beer league. Could be. Could be. That was a good movie. You ever see that movie, Beer League? Uh, was it Beer League? It was like a it was a comedy movie. It was like they played slow pitch softball, and it was a beer league slow pitch. It's such a stupid movie, but it was funny. Uh, Josh says Beer Fest. No, that's I know what movie you're talking about, but there was a movie called Beer League too. There's Beer Fest. I know what movie you're talking about. The made from the comedy group, the Lizard guys from the Super Troopers guys from the Super Troopers movies. But look up Beer League the movie. It's about a slow pitch softball team that there's like really no point to the movie. It's just like a stupid comedy. Um, but the guy, let's see, I forgot his name, but I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Dirty Work. Not Norm, the other guy. He's the main character in that movie. But Wolfie says hi. What's up, Wolfie? Brian says Artie Lang. Yeah, I think it's Artie. Yeah, I don't know. Artie something. Artie Lang, maybe. Josh says, do you ever see Basketball? I did see Basketball. That's a good movie. I used to watch it all the time as a kid. I think I watched it not super recently, but I watched it like 2 or 3 years ago, I think. It's a good comedy movie. Brian says, LOL. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it was a good movie. Wolfie says, I just did 60 sit ups. Oh, very nice. Must have got a nice ab pump going. But very nice. Oh, yeah. So Josh says the part where he pretends to drink the liposuction from Rosie O'Donnell's ass. Oh, that was that's a good scene. That's a definitely a good psych out scene. I always wondered what that was, though. Was it like the movie prop to make it look like the fat from Rosie O'Donnell's ass? Was it like rice pudding mixed with milk or something? But yeah, that was a good one. That song when he's driving, I think it's that movie when he's in the car and he's driving and the radio starts playing and starts like roasting him. That song's still stuck in my head. Let's see. Wolfie says my best so far. Oh, very nice. We like to call that a PR, personal record. Very nice. Yes, man. Josh said it. He says, gotta be a member. You gotta be a member. And if you're a member, you'll be able to see a whole bunch of stuff. You'll be able to see the first ever Dungeon Super Series. This is literally the only place on the planet you'll be able to see these matches. 9 incredible matches is on the membership. But also you'll be able to see all my lifting, all my heavy lifting, all my medium heavy lifting, and all of my table training. So yes, man, it says member of what? Member of this channel, Stone TV. Become a member. That's the only way to be. So Brian says, bro, you ever see Exit to Eden? I don't think so. I don't think so. And he says, then Brian says, don't say I didn't warn you. I guess we could talk about that on our 7 hour field trip tomorrow. 7 hour, 3.5. But yeah, we'll save that for our talk maybe. Unless you can't wait, then you can definitely say here. But I don't think I've seen that movie. Yes, man says, I am an NRA member. Oh, very nice. You know what goes good with that membership? The STONEtv membership pairs very, very nicely. Josh says you could join his only feet for $5.99 a month. You must have the wrong channel subscription, Josh, because mine is a lot more than $5.99. But either way, I hope you enjoy yourself. Let's see. Wolfie says, I'm broke. I'm sorry. No worries, man. No worries. But I do appreciate you hanging out with us, during the lives and, having a good time with all our friends. A few trolls, a few bots. But don't worry, we got Josh in the chats. He'll get rid of them like kind of like an umpire from the MLB with a modern umpire, not like the ones from back in the day where people could say stuff. Now it's, if you look at someone wrong, they throw you out. So be careful out there. Brian says, yeah, we'll go over it. Oh, good. Brian says, for the first foot, the second foot is extra. Very true. Definitely true. Josh says, def him chat. It's the Timu version. Hey, sometimes, you gotta go with the good deal. So this is Timu version, LOL. Wolfie says, I love the bots. Somebody's got to, sometimes they're fun. Sometimes Josh gotta lay the hammer down. So Jesse says, hey brother, how's it going? How's the arm wrestling coming? So it's going very well, man. It's going very well. Training's going good. Got a big match coming up December 6th. It's going to be very, very interesting. So Wolfie says, is Drew in the live? He was earlier. Maybe, I know it's early there, I think. Maybe he fell back asleep. But he was in there earlier. Josh says, I'm just waiting for Wolfie to step out of line. ... That's funny. That is funny. No, but he's good, man. I know he's just joking. Wolfie says, I will never. Oh, good. Yeah. That's why we like you, because it's good old fun. So Jesse says, you're going to do a live on December 6th. So I won't be able to, it's going to be a pay-per-view on the Natty Bros channel. So I won't be able to film the matches. But I think I'm going to have my handy dandy camera guy with me. I'm going to talk about it tomorrow after practice. But I do think we'll be able to get a good amount of videos out and stuff like that. So Jesse says, okay, where can we watch? So it's going to be on the Natty Bros YouTube channel. I think it's Natty Bros Arm Wrestling, maybe Natty Bros. I think it's Natty Bros Arm Wrestling is their channel. But it's going to be on that YouTube channel. It's going to be under the memberships. But yeah, it's going to be good. Also, too, there's in-person tickets. If you guys want to watch it live, they're selling in-person tickets. Yeah, so it's going to be good. All right, just says cool, nice. I'll go and sub to that channel. Very good, very good. And make sure you tell them that Nic Stone sent you. That will help out a lot. Help me out a lot if you remember. Oh, there it is right there, Jesse. Josh put it in the chat. He says, Jesse says, thanks, camera guy. Yeah, he's good like that. He's good like that, you know. A lot of people only thinks he has a tough side, you know, kicking people out, but he has a soft side too, you know. He'll help you out with a nice, you know, link in the chat, you know. Let's see. So, Sailor says, we have to buy in-person tickets beforehand, or can we show up to the event and buy them? I'm pretty sure you could just show up. I'll double check. I'm not sure if they're limited or not. I know the VIPs are limited seats, but I'm not sure about the regular seats. But yeah, I'll double check. I'm pretty sure you could show up, but I'm not sure if they're limited. So I'll see if they're limited. Wolfie says, guess what? I already know what. Josh says, I got a channel too, LO. And that is true. That is definitely true. So definitely check out that camera guy 98. He's got a Josh, put the link to your channel in the comments too. But definitely check out Josh's channel. He's got a lot of good stuff on there. High quality videos. Much higher quality than mine. So it's good, you know, definitely check him out. Jesse says that's a good mod. Definitely is. Wolfie says my B-Day is on November 24th. Very nice. Very nice. Hopefully you have a good birthday. Don't forget about your birthday workout. And it's going to be good. Hey, what's up, Dustin? He says, hey, I'm November 23rd. Very nice. We have back-to-back birthdays from, I like to call them cool people. You know, there's two types of people. There's weird people, and then there's cool people. And you guys are the cool people, you know. The weird people are the people that Josh kicks out, you know. So let's see. Wolfie says, are you live on November 24th? Maybe. I'm not sure, man. I kind of don't really plan these lives out. I kind of just do them, you know, with the time I got. Sometimes I have a lot of time, sometimes I have no time. But I'll probably do something, you know. I'll probably do something. So let's see. There's the link to Josh's channel, so definitely check him out. Dustin says birthday. The good old birthday. Wolfie says, if you are, I would watch. Oh, I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. And remember to, you know, I got the short-term memory, so remember to remind me, you know, to say happy birthday, because I got the old memory problem. Dustin says, starting my workout, getting pumped. That's what I'm talking about. Get the good lift in, Dustin. Get the gains. That's what I'll be doing after this. I'll be doing a heavy lift, pronation, elbow flexion, all the good stuff. But that's going to be for the members only. Wolfie says, my phone is at 2. Then he says, IGTG, which means got to go, in case anyone's wondering. But we'll see you next time, Wolfie. Thanks for watching. Well, let's see. Sudi, I was laughing at Josh's comment, but I'm not going to read this comment because Josh deleted it. Thank you very much, Josh. But I was just about to say, I couldn't help that guy. Then Josh says to Wolfie, get your shit together. He means charge up the phone. Wolfie says, what? He means charge up the phone. That's all it is. That's all it is. You know, that's funny. You know what I just noticed too? This might be, let's see, because Tuesday, we had practice Tuesday in the Labyrinth. Nick was over. I don't know how much he weighs, but he's 350 to 370 probably, which is heavier than me. I'm probably like 330 probably. So that was one of the first practice, you know, that was a long time and first time in a while that I was at a practice where I wasn't the heaviest guy. And now it's going to be back-to-back practices because Sean is heavier than me too. That might be the first time in my arm wrestling career that I was at back-to-back practices not being the heaviest guy. Could be wrong, but I just thought that was interesting. Josh says, see, Nick gets it. Yeah, because I've gotten that friendly reminder myself once, twice, maybe even 3 times. Just a nice little friendly reminder. Sailor says, my phone died and I just got back on. Multiple charging issues going on in the chat. Definitely true. Definitely true. Speaking of that, I should probably check my battery. And let's see. I cannot see it with this angle. But it's still on. I know it's probably like 60 or 70 right now, so it should be good. Wolfie says bye. See you later, Wolfie. Let's see. Yeah, so I said it in the beginning, but I'll say it again. I think, you know, after this live, it's going to be a members only live for our heavy lifting. I'm gonna see how. I mean, I feel tender, but I'm gonna push it as hard as I can. I do want last week. If you watched the members video, I worked up pretty heavy, but it was sloppy, very sloppy. So I want to clean it up a little bit, technique wise. Gamer says, hello, dude. What's up, man? Josh says, you should go live from your phone at Sean's tomorrow. I think I am. If Sean's cool with it, I think I'm going to do another member-only video. Because would like that to be one of the perks to the members is because I don't really show too much of my arm wrestling training, because I'm, a little busy training. But if I set the camera up and just have it going, it's not too bad. But I would like that to be one of the benefits to the members of STONEtv. But yeah, definitely, I think if Sean's cool with it, I'm definitely going to go live. Brian says, you doing tomorrow's workout today? Yeah, I'm going to do tomorrow's workout today. So it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Josh says he is. He will sit for an interview too. Oh, cool. That would be cool. Yeah, if he wants to do something like that, that'd be awesome. I'll probably have that beat that interview on. Maybe I'll do half. I don't know. I'll probably have some for the regular YouTube, and then maybe some of the stuff for the members. I'll have to see how it comes out, But yeah, it'd definitely be cool. Because Sean is a veteran of the sport. He's also a fellow veteran of the powerlifting. The powerlifting side. It's kind of in the same boat as me. He was a powerlifter before he was an arm wrestler. So it's interesting. Brian says, okay, I will try and hit that when I get out. Definitely can. But make sure, if you push it, like what I'm going to do today, I'm definitely going to push it, but I don't want to have any. I still want to be able to go extremely hard tomorrow. So if you feel like if you're pushing it so hard that it's going to take away from your table time, maybe take the foot off the gas a little bit with the weights. But if not, keep that sucker floored. So let's see. Brian says, I finally designed a program I like specific for the style I'm working on. I'll show you tomorrow. Oh, cool. I'm excited for it. Yeah, we could talk about a whole bunch of stuff, the training related, um, you know, in our 7-hour field trip. But it shouldn't be that bad. I mean, it's a good amount of driving, but it should be nice having a teammate, a fellow friend, a teammate, to pass the time and stuff. Because usually I take all these trips by myself. It's not the end of the world going by yourself, but I think taking a trip with someone will probably make the time go faster. Just being able to have a conversation and stuff. Brian says, yeah, I could back off on one or two movements or something. Yeah, that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to hit the first lift really hard. And then depending on how that feels, I'll probably keep the reps the same. Maybe go up a little bit in reps, but I want everything to be super clean. Last week I got the weights, but it was super sloppy. The weights, well, when I say super sloppy, the way when I train the pronation, for it to be a good lift, you have to not lose any pronation. You can lose other things and still be a good lift, but if you lose the pronation, that is a no lift. So that's why I call them sloppy lifts, because I was losing I pretty much lost everything except for the pronation and maybe the elbow flexor lock. But that's good. So Alan is a fan of fishing. Oh, I know why people keep on talking about the fishing. I was like, oh, why does everyone keep on talking about the fishing? It's because I got a fish shirt on. That's why. But I haven't been fishing in a long time. So Brayo says those long trips are way easier with a friend slash teammate tags along. Yeah, definitely true. Definitely true. Um, let's see. Brian says, yeah, it's not like after a 3 hour drive, there's a 10-hour tournament or something. LO. Yeah, definitely true. Definitely true. But we're gonna make it. We're gonna make that practice feel like it's 10 hours. We're gonna go pretty hard. I hope those Jersey boys are ready. Let's see. Josh says, keep them coming, trolls. I can ban all day. I just picture Josh with his finger waiting. He's just holding that finger over that ban button. He's just waiting for someone to slip up. I got a question. Like, say if what if you accidentally ban someone? Can you unban someone under the time limit? I'm just thinking out loud. Oh, okay, that makes it easier. Bo, we got a teammate on our team. His name is Bo too, but he's Polish. I don't know if you're Polish, but he says, "What guys are in New Jersey that you're looking forward to pull?" Josh is down there. Kevin, he might be down there. Kevin Callender, he might be down there. If Sean is pulling, Sean would be cool. But yeah, those are the three names that come to mind. Um, but I'm kind of hoping whoever's there just tries to jump me and tries to pretty much kill me. That would be nice. That would be nice. Um, Usually that's the case whenever I travel out of state to pull. Most people always jump you and gang up on you, which is great. You know. Um, Josh says, "Ask and you shall receive." Definitely true. Bo says, "Nah, I'm a West Virginia boy." LOL. Oh, nice. So they got some good arm wrestlers over there in West Virginia. Josh says, "The Bo Horner." Definitely true. Bo says, "Couple studs to train with." Definitely brings the gains. Josh says, "Nick is pulling Kevin left." Definitely true. But I will be there mostly for righty for the next 5 or 6 weeks or whatever it is. I'm a righty. But we'll definitely do some left. We'll definitely do some left. But I'm there for right. Brian says, I've seen his channel. I think I'll sub it when the live is over. Bo, yeah, definitely. I'd recommend everyone else checking out that channel too. Um, Bo says that will be some good training. Getting to pull with Kevin Callender. Definitely will. Definitely will. But let's see what else. What else can we talk about? What other arm wrestling questions can we talk about? Um, because I've been drinking this pre-workout pretty slow. Let's see, what time is it? 10:46. We probably I can't see the time, but we've probably been on for at least an hour. which is good. You know, my plan was to do this live and talk for a little bit because I want to let the garage warm up. I mean, it's not super cold, but it's definitely warmer around noon than it is around 8 a.m. Josh says 70 minutes. Yeah, it's something like that. Uh, Brian says all good, bro. That's good. That's good. But yeah, what I'm kind of, I'm sure an idea will pop in my head eventually, but I'm kind of running out of ideas, at least at the moment, for topics. Oh, here we go. Yona, say Yona for short, says, "What you hitting today?" So I'm gonna hit some pronation. I'm gonna do my standing pronation lift. It's gonna be mostly pronation. I'm gonna do some speed back pressure. I'm gonna do my pronation uppercut. I'm gonna do my table curls, and then I'm gonna do my elbow down high rep pronation. I think that's it. I gotta double check the book, but that's what it's gonna be. And if you want to see how I train, Yona, um, the only way to see how I train heavy stuff, my medium heavy, and my table time is going to be um, if you're gonna have to become a member to this channel. Because after I hop off this, I'm gonna set up another live for the members only, which will be my heavy pronation workout. So Bo says any potential super matches lined up. There is one already in the line versus Chance Shaw, December 6th. It's going to be a good time. And I'll say this. I said this once. I'll say it again. I ain't losing. I ain't losing. It's going to be good. I'm very excited. It's going to be good. Jonas says competitive arm wrestling. Very, very competitive. And you are correct, because I'm an arm wrestler. I used to be a power lifter, but now I'm an arm wrestler. So if you want to see how a professional arm wrestler trains, you can watch some videos. If you want to see the really good stuff, you're going to have to become a member. Let's see. Josh says him against Chance Shaw, December 6th. Definitely true. And Bo says, oh, hell yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be good. Not that many lemon seeds in this one. Usually, I gotta spit out a whole bunch of lemon seeds. There's some in. I don't know. There's some in there. I don't know if you can see them, but usually there's like 500 of them. So black orange. You must be a member of a gang. He's asking if there's any what I would think looks like a gang members. We're not a fan of gangs. And then black orange says it's numerology. Yes, so like I just said, we're not a fan of gangs. You know, the number gangs, they're all the same. They're all violent and they crime oriented. But either way, I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the comments. Um, but I tell you what, if you got an arm wrestling question, black orange, feel free to ask. You know what I mean? Because this is an arm wrestling channel. Most arm wrestlers probably not the best with numbers, so there might not be any numerology people in the chat. But we got some arm wrestlers, which I would think definitely better. All right. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that information. Black orange. Let's see. Well, I think numbers do lie once in a while because try to convert pounds to kilograms. It's going to be slightly off depending on what equation you use. So we brought it back to we brought the numbers thing back to powerlifting. So we're back into talking about powerlifting, but preferably arm wrestling. But let's see. Bo says, "What time does the East versus West card start today?" Um, so you're in West Virginia, so I think we're the same time. I think 2 p.m. I think 2 p.m. Eastern. Um, I think because I was looking at it a couple lives ago when I had the thing up. I think it was. I think it's 2 p.m. The camera guy says, "What? What are you whatting at, Josh? Are you whatting at the number talk?" I would think. Um, I might be whatting that stuff too. All right, so black orange put his looks to be like his cell phone number in the chat, and I would highly recommend probably do not message him because you might get a picture that you probably don't want to see, you know? Josh says bad idea, LO. Yeah, definitely do not text that number. It seems like a trap. Um, Brian says unsolicited advertising. Very true, very true. Well, it happens sometimes. It happens sometimes. Um, yep, Josh, that's what we're afraid of. That's why I was warning people don't text that number because you'll get exactly what Josh commented. if you're talking about numbers, because the odds are, if you're a numbers guy, you're probably gonna get one of those pictures. And I would think the majority of the people in the chat don't want to see that. You know, the majority. You know, there might be a few people I'm not sure about. You know, but you gotta watch. You gotta watch your back sometimes. Brian says definitely don't click on any links. And Black Orange says I'm married with a son. I don't know, man. I don't think you're gonna get anybody. Let's see. Let's bring it back to arm wrestling. So the East versus West. We said it's at 2:00. We got some good matches. So Warren says your birthday means everything. And Josh says 2 + 2 = ban. LOL. Definitely true. That's an equation that everyone can get behind. Then Brian says for numerous seconds, about 86,000 numerous seconds. And in case you're wondering, that's one full day. I found that out thanks to people getting banned. Josh says, yep, lots and lots of numbers. Very true. Now, I always like to think this is funny. You know, I say, I think it's funny. Let's see. I always think it's funny that once you get to a certain point in a weight class, they stop using numbers and start using letters. Like, for example, once you make it to the super heavyweights, instead of putting, 243 plus, they just put super heavyweight. Most of the time. Sometimes they just put 242 plus, but a lot of times you'll just see super heavyweight. First lemon seeds of the drink. Oh, just gotta get rid of those lemon seeds. You can't be eating lemon seeds. So Swamp Rat says, "Are you a fighter?" Nope. I am an arm wrestler. Some people call arm wrestling a hand fight, if that helps you out. But arm wrestling is like the lowest form of fighting there is. You know what I mean? It's a combat sport, but when I say lowest form, means the lowest risk of injury for the combat sports. Like boxing, you could die. You can get a brain bleed and die. Jiu-jitsu, you know what I mean? You could die. Someone could hold that choke for too long and you could die. Versus arm wrestling, worst case scenario, I mean, you'll be able to walk to the hospital. Worst case scenario. I would think the worst case scenario, the only way you could really die in arm wrestling is say if you break your arm, that bone severs an artery, and then you bleed to death. That's probably, besides, the obvious heart attack or whatever, the aneurysm, but versus, MMA and pretty much any other combat sport, there is a risk of, extreme brain injury and or death, So that's why I say arm wrestling is the lowest form of fighting, combat, meaning the lowest risk. Oh, almost dropped the phone. We saved it. All right. Excuse me. Swamp Rat says, "What level you on?" Uh, pretty decent. Pretty decent. Depending on what ranking you look, um, somewhere in the top 20 in the American rankings and the supers. But the rankings are tricky. Brian says, lately the weight cut seems the most dangerous in combat sports. Yeah, definitely true. That brain usually dries out first. You usually lose the liquids from the brain first. And then when your brain's all dry, it's more likely to rattle around and break off, you know? But yeah, even for, I've never been a fan of weight cuts for any sport, I always say this, except for number one, it's for a world championship or something very, very big, or there's a lot of money on the line. You know what I mean? Those are only two times I've ever really advised people to do cuts. But even if you do it as safe as possible, there's going to be a risk. I'm not a fan of having people do big cuts because of the risk of injury goes way up. Even if you rehydrate the best of your ability, it's you're still gonna be not at the optimal state. Especially arm wrestling, it's a tendon sport. You want your tendons to be hydrated and elastic. But especially, I'm not, I've only seen a little bit. I'm not the biggest fan of the UFC and all that stuff, but I watch it occasionally. I was interested on the way the fighters have the extreme weight cuts because some of these guys are dropping, a pretty big percentage of their body weight. Who was that Cyborg, that female fighter? I watched I don't know if it was a little mini documentary about her weight cut, and man, that was an absolutely brutal weight cut. I mean, she was going from saunas to sleeping in those thermal sleeping bags into taking rubbing alcohol baths, to have the rubbing alcohol pulls more water out into like boiling water. It was so hot, it was making her, cry because it was so painful. Um, and then doing all that and then having a fight the next day takes a special person. Swamp Rat says, "What's your best to win?" So, now when you say best, I would think you mean toughest opponent. Maybe lefty, I would say Austin Yeagers. Righty, I would say Toshiaki Shishido from Japan. Toshi was a number one guy from Japan. He was the best guy from that country. Which is very interesting. It makes me think because I am not. This is what I'm going to say. So far, I have faced two athletes that were the best in their country. One from Japan, one from England. So what is it? I've had 5 professional super matches. So what is that? Like 40%? 40% of my matches have been versus the best athlete from a country. So what that brings it to my point is I don't get why all these arm wrestlers are shitting on American arm wrestling when we're having our top 20 guys face other guys' top number 1. I don't really know exactly where I was going with that, but it was very interesting thought. Brian says alcohol baths. Yeah, man, that's gotta suck. I hate the way rubbing alcohol smells. I couldn't imagine taking a bath in it with boiling water. But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? So let's see. It's 11:11. That numbers guy would probably say something about that if he was still in the chat. But I'm gonna hop off pretty soon. I only got a little bit left of this pre-workout. Swamp Rat says, "What weight you in?" I'm in the super heavyweights. So some people call it the open class, super heavyweight open class. But the heaviest class there is, that's the one I'm in. More lemon seeds. That's the last of the lemon seeds. All right, guys, I'm gonna hop off very soon. I'm gonna wait 20 seconds to see if there's any comments coming in from the delay. There's about a 20-second delay from what you guys type to when I see it. Also, too, if you guys want to see how I lift, you're going to have to become a member. If you want to see my heavy lifting, if you want to see less talking and more action, you're going to have to become a member. Sign up to memberships. You get a whole bunch of stuff. There's a whole bunch of videos in there, as well as the first ever Dungeon Super Series. Only place on earth to watch it is STONEtv under the memberships. Swamp Rat says, good luck on your next one. Have a good day. Oh, thank you very much. December 6th is the next one. I appreciate that, Swamp Rat. But, alright guys, that's it for me. I'm going to hop off, get everything situated, and we'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for watching.